Um, so there's a calmness about today. It's really cool. I have this sunlight on my screen right now. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm at complete peace. You know, last night and this morning I'm kind of getting wrapped up again in, you know, like how many views I'm getting and all this other shit, and it's weird. It's a weird thing. And then I thought about, like, well, then my buddy that has, you know, BPD, that lives with me now, he likes to read the Bible, which is cool, man. Like, I mean, I accept all people and I accept all religions and all faiths, and I mean, I even lived in the Middle East for 5.5 years, and I was surrounded by, you know, Muslim people, and, you know, when people start talking to me about how evil Muslim people are, I'm like, dude, I'm like, if you were ever to go on my old Facebook page, you'd see about, like, 350 people that I'm, like, Facebook friends that are all Muslim that live in the Middle East. My passport has so many Middle East, like, countries on it. And I've also been to a couple, like, cocaine countries, like, you know, like Nicaragua and shit like that. That when I go to airports, you know, I always get stopped at the gate, or they always put me in a separate room. One time, you know, and then they make me take my clothes off and stuff like that. It's pretty serious, because all the stuff that you have, all the stuff on the internet, you know, Facebook, all that stuff, you know, that stuff is being tracked. You know, I mean, like, you know, even if you don't say, even if you don't think it is, and, you know, you might call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but, I mean, like, here's an interesting one, right? And most of you people probably already know this. Most of you guys, I'm sorry, people, you people know, you know, like, most everybody knows this already, like, right? So, I draw, right? I draw a lot of stuff, you know, so a couple of years ago, I was, like, drawing, like, for this Halloween drawing of a guinea pig. I was drawing the guinea pig dressed up like Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. So I wanted to give the guinea pig, like, a lightsaber and give him Luke Skywalker's outfit, right? And so I was, you know, doing Luke Skywalker's belt and the lightsaber, so I had to research on Google Images all of these things. Why is it so dark today? It's freaking weird. It's, like, so goddamn dark. But, you know, so I had to do, like, research on, like, what Luke Skywalker looked like, right? So I spend, like, all this time, like, researching different lightsabers until I find the right one. And it takes me, like, you know, 25 to 35 minutes to draw the lightsaber correctly. And I used Google Images to find it. The next morning, I'm watching, like, a YouTube video, and I'm not even fucking with you. Like, as I'm watching the video, like, something, like, goes across the screen, and it says, like, I'm on YouTube the next fucking day, right? And something goes across the screen, and it says, lightsabers, 20% off at, like, you know, whatever, Amazon Prime. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that was goddamn, like, 3 years ago. So if it was that bad 3 years ago, I don't even fucking want to know what it's like now, man. Like, they actually tracked what I was searching on Google Images, and they kept it in their programming to be like, oh, he'd probably buy a lightsaber. And then as I was watching a YouTube video, like, 18 hours later, they flashed, like, a sale of a lightsaber across the screen, and I was like, what in the fuck? And at the time, like 3 years ago, Like, I told that to a couple people, and everybody was like, what in the fuck? And then, of course, all this shit came out that, like, they track what you view, and they track what you, like, whatever. But that was the first, like, sign that I caught on of it. And I was like, damn. Shit is crazy. But, yeah, man, I don't know. So, anyways, I got, like, wrapped up in, like, how many views I was getting, because I was getting, like, 30 views and some shit. And then, like, I dropped down to, like, 19, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man, fuck. And, you know, if you watched yesterday's video, what was it, like 107? I think I'm on 108 right now. I don't even know. Like, I was talking about, like, you know, killing children in the, you know, Orlando airport. You know, when you're fucked up like us, man, fuck, sometimes you just go overboard. You know, like, you just, I think, like, we have the predictability to, like, see into the future. Predictability to see, that made no fucking sense. The ability to, like, see into the future and, like, see what a person is going to become. And I don't really have hope for, like, many people that are, like, I don't know, man. I don't know, it's a struggle, because it's like, I don't know, man. I just feel like so many people are just, they're just going with the herd, and they're just become followers, and they're not going to be living. They're just going to be buying shit, and I don't know, man. You know, it's weird. It's fucking weird, man. I think, like, when you're like us, when you're, like, borderline, bipolar, like, schizophrenic, even clinically depressed, complex PTSD, like, it's so hard for us to make it through a fucking day. And, like, we just, anything could upset us. Like, anything could fucking upset us. And, like, when we feel people, like, judging us or not accepting us, like I was talking about in the video yesterday, like, it's like, why would I allow those people to live? You know, and when I was talking about those kids, you know, that I wanted to kill in the airport, I just thought that they were going to become those people. So I was like, I might as well kill them too. You know, but that's on me, man. You know, that's on me. I guess I'm just tired of being upset by people treating me like shit and not accepting me and rejecting me, and it, you know, and I'm kind of speaking bullshit there, because I'm like, I'm so caught up in, like, this gimmick that I've created to, like, trick the world. So it's been a long time since I've been rejected by people, because I've gotten so good at the fucking game. But when I was growing up, like, elementary school, middle school, high school, fucking hated high school, middle school, and elementary school. Fucking hated it. Like, I had one goddamn good grade. I had one good year, and it was 5th grade. 5th grade was good. The rest of the grades were fucking goddamn awful. Because I was constantly getting picked on. You know, I was like, or I was like, not accepted. You know, or I came from the poor family. Yeah, and it's just like, there's a lot of books in there's a lot of chapters in my book about that, you know, where, you know, when you grow up with our condition, a lot of the times you grow up in poverty. A lot of times you grow up very poor. And you're seen as not only this nuisance to be seen, you know, because, you know, you're just different and fucking weird, you also look like shit compared to the other, like, kids that have fucking money, that come from, like, soccer mom families and, like, live in these nice fucking middle class houses. And, like, you learn from a very young age that people don't like you. And you learn from a very young age that people they see you as a fucking cockroach. And that's why, and then they see the middle class, upper middle class, you know, financially wealthy families with their like pretty cars and their pretty houses and their pretty clothes, they see them as like do-gooders. And then the teachers treat them differently than you. The teachers are like, oh my God, your daughter's so beautiful and your daughter's such a nice kid. And like, because I told my buddy this today, I'm like people that have their shit together. Like, they just gravitate towards people that have their shit together. And the way that I've tricked the world in my modern time, like today, shall we say, is I've convinced them that I have my shit together to such a degree that they like my energy. But they don't know who I really am. If they knew that I filmed that video 107 yesterday when I was talking about killing children in the fucking Orlando airport, they'd be like, fuck this guy. And I'm getting the fuck away from this guy. And this guy's a fucking piece of shit, and I fucking hate him. You know, he doesn't even deserve to live. He should be locked up right now. Because they're not one of us. They're like, they take everything to extremes. Like, they hide their feelings. Like, they're afraid to be barbarians. Like, they can't allow themselves to, if they have a dark thought, they can't express it to the world because they're afraid of what the world will think of them, or they'll be afraid to lose their social status, or what they have, or what they have financially, or what they're getting, right? So like, they're just living a fucking lie. You know, like, at least for us, we could say some batshit crazy shit because it's what we really feel. And we're like, oh, if I end up in a mental institution for this, that's fine. There's this one time I really wanted to kill my brother-in-law, like, bad. And like, these two cops showed up at my house because I didn't take a shower for like fucking 35 days. I was just peeing the bed and I didn't really care, so I only smelled like urine, and I was seeing like aliens in windows, and finally, like, my family called the cops on me. There's a chapter in the book, you know, the ebook, you know, about that shit, and you know, and I went into detail about like that time period of my life, and you know, because people don't want to be around people that smell like urine all day, you know, and it's just like, and when you're like us, you don't care, like, you're like, so I smell like urine, so I pee in my bed every night, so I haven't showered in 35 days, like I don't care. Like, I'm so suicidally depressed and so deranged right now, and I'm so schizophrenic. Like, showering is like the last thing that's on my mind. Like I can't even physically think about taking a shower. And I also thought that there was like, every time like I was in the shower, I felt like there was like a great white shark, like, on the other side of the shower curtain, like, waiting to get me and eat me, and like I couldn't even be in the shower because I knew he was there. The great white shark. Fucking goddamn it, man. Shit ain't no fucking joke, man. Being schizophrenic, schizoaffective. It's just fucked up, man. But I only get schizoaffective or schizophrenic when I get really fucking suicidally depressed. Like, when I'm really fucking bad. Like, that's when it's just like I start seeing shit. One time I heard this fucking voice. It was like fucking weird. I was by myself. I was at home. There was nobody home. Like, the kids were at school, my niece and nephew, because sometimes I have to, you know, throughout, like, my history, I've had to live with them because I've been so fucking gone that there's no way I could function on my own or pay bills or pay for a room or pay for anything, you know, even if I was on SSI, you know, because, like, I would just drink myself to death, because why wouldn't I drink myself to death? Like, fucking all I want to do is die. So, like, I love drinking. So let's do this shit. So, like, you know, so everybody was gone in the house that day. Kids were at school, and my sister, they were at work and shit. And I'm like, walking around the house, just doing laps. I used to pace for about probably like 8 to 12 hours a day, and all I would do is pace, and I couldn't sit down, and I couldn't sit down. I was just pacing and pacing and pacing and pacing and pacing and pacing and pacing. And I was pacing, and I was going around this corner, and I heard this person's voice, and they were like, and it was like a kind of like a black man's voice. It was kind of like an older person's voice. I'd probably say like a 55-year-old person's voice. And at the time I was like 27 years old, I think. And the person's voice was like, or 32, I forget how old I was. But the person's voice was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was just like, and it was coming from like the ceiling, like it was coming from like it was coming from like right over here. And I was just like, and I turned, and there was like no black man there. There was like nobody there. And I was just like, what the fuck was that? And then like I looked outside, and there was nobody outside. And then I went in every room trying to find the guy. The guy wasn't there. There was no guy in the house. But like the guy was like kind of like on the wall. He was like not like up, like, well, there's no upstairs. It was just like, and like I even went up into the attic and checked the attics to find the black man. There was no black man in the attic, because I'm like, well, maybe he's like upstairs, like in. But that's the shit when you're schizophrenic and schizoaffective, man. Like fucking, like you're so fucking paranoid, delusional and shit. You're like, oh, there's a fucking black man in the fucking attic. Even if he was in the attic, there's no way I could fucking hear him that well, you know. But like you're not thinking like rationally. You're just like, I just fucking need to find a black man. Classic. Anyways, so I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. That happens a lot on this goddamn program. It's like fucking, you know, it's like I just start, and with I can't watch horror movies either. After I watched The Ring, you know, The Ring, it was like an old horror movie. That movie was fucked up. I thought that girl that came out of the well was like around me all the time. Like I'm getting like chills right now just thinking about her. Like I would like if I was in the bathroom, I would think she was outside the bathroom. Like if I was like if I had my back turned and I was like cooking something on the stove, I would think she was like crawling behind me on like all fours, just like waiting for me, or like just standing there watching me. Like fucking god damn it. And that went on for about 1.5 years, like all the time. Like I couldn't even sleep because I thought she was like in the room with me and shit. Fuck, man. And then I don't know what possessed me to watch The Ring 2. Like 2.5 years later, I was with somebody, and they were like, "Hey, let's watch The Ring 2." And I was like, and I just gotten over the first Ring, like The Ring 1, like probably like 9 months earlier. And I was like, I don't know if I should, like that. And I couldn't tell them what I just went through for the past 1.5 years with like the girl. And they were like, come on, man, it'll be fine. And you know, these things are just fake anyways. And I was like, all right, bad fucking move, dude. I watched the second movie, and I was just like, and it didn't last as long as the first one, but it lasted for a good like 7 or 8 months. Same thing as the first movie, man. Like I always thought she was there. And then I watched then I went on a date and I watched the fucking Conjuring in the movie theater. And that fucked me up for a really long time too. That was the last horror movie I watched, was The Conjuring. Because I even went to this one psychiatrist once. I was like 17, and like that actually looks really cool, like tilted up like that. I went to this one psychiatrist when I was like 17, and he's like, Joe, do you watch like any horror movies, or do you watch like, you know, or do you read any like Stephen King, like any like, you know, like scary fucking books? And I was like, yeah, sometimes. And he's like, don't. He's like, just no. Like number one, you have an overactive imagination because you're an artist. Number two, you're like schizophrenic. When you get really fucking low, you're schizoaffective, big time, and like you're and you're delusional, like, and you have delusions of grandeur, where you feel like you need to kill people because they don't deserve to be alive, and like you have like this god complex where you could take people's lives and you could give a fuck less about them, because like you are judge and jury, like you're God, right? So like don't fill your mind with any fucking evil. One time, this was a fucking really cool schizophrenic vision, and then I'll wrap it up. But I was, this was actually really fucking cool. This was like Children of the Corn type shit, right? So, so I'm like in this house, and we used to have like this field, like next to the house, like, and it was like an acre lot, and I come outside. And there's just this boy standing in the middle of the field. And he was like, he must have been like 10 or 11 years old or something. And he was like there. And like I was just looking at him. And he was just like looking at me. And like all of a sudden, like I was like, why is there a kid? Why is there a kid in that field? And why is he just looking at me? And then like I looked to the side to like look at something, and then I like looked back, but it was only like a, you know, like a 1 second look back, and he was gone. He was like, just disappeared. And I was just like, what the fuck? So like I kind of like walked, you know, and I just like try to observe, like see if he walked away or something like that, or if he like was laying on the ground or something. And he was, no, like he was gone. Like he was just like, I've had some like really schizophrenic shit that was really fucking dark and fucked up, about like past life shit that used to be in the old book, the old ebook, but I deleted those chapters. Well, I moved those chapters to another book just in case I want to use them for another date, because those stories are just way too fucked up. Like I was just like, I can't put these stories in this fucking first ebook, because it's just like, you know, like when I was writing the book, I thought about people reading. And when I got to moments when I was writing, or moments when I was like reading, like editing what I wrote like a couple months earlier, and I thought about people reading it and being so horrified by what they were reading that they were like, I can't read this, and they just fucking closed the book and they never read it again. Like whenever I felt that way, like I just copy, paste it into book number 2, and then cut it and just delete it from the first book. But yeah, I don't know, man. Well, anyways, I gotta wrap this up, but I hope everybody's having a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in, the 14 of you or the 19 of you, whatever. And I started a TikTok thing just to promote the channel, just to spread awareness for what we're going through, to help people heal. And everybody, thank you so much for everything. Take care. Love you.